اتوقع بدأ البث. بس دقيقة. شوف البث شغال ولا لا.
Okay, Meg. Yeah.
دقيقة.
I think so. I think there was only 500 of those characters.
اوكي شغال البث. آه ما اتوقع احد بيدخل، بس بجرب حظي. يلا انا ببدأ. يلا بسم الله. الساعة حاليا 3:25 دقيقة. hang on يعني نقول لي انتظر. قبل أن أبدأ أريد أن أقول شيء. شكرا على actually setting the clock both time. أنا شغلتها قبل بس ما لعبت. يقول لي أن شكرا لأنك حطيت الساعة مثل ما هي في المرتين اللي شغلت اللعبة. يقول في ناس وايدين ما ياخذون هالخطوة بجدية ويخلون الساعة 12 بس. بس بس انا يعني انا سويت الساعة وانا يقدرون هالشي. That's how I know that you care about the experience you're paying attention. أن يقول أن هني يعرف أن أنا أهتم في الشيء يعني في الاكسبيرينس في التجربة هذه. I don't even have any way of knowing if the time you're setting are correct. يقول أنا أصلا ما أقدر أعرف الوقت اللي أنت حطيته صح ولا لا، وبس أنا حطيته صح. Tell you what, I make you a deal. Since you've been cooperative, next time you boot up the game and see the screen, just set the clock to your favorite time. يقول بس حط الساعة يعني المرة الجاية إذا شغلت اللعبة حط الوقت اللي أنت تباه. يعني مثلا أنت تحب الساعة 4 العصر حط الساعة 4 العصر. Go ahead pick whichever time even if it's not correct time you earn it. يقول أنت حط أي وقت تباه أنت تستاهل. يلا يقول خليني ارجع للعبة. يلا نقول بسم الله ونبدأ. صوت اللعبة اتوقع انه عالي. بس صوت اللعبة شيء اتوقع بيكون اوكي. اوكي begin the game. يلا نقول نبدأ بسم الله.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite
دقيقة بس. اوكي تمام.
forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
انزين يالس يقول ان انا ستانلي الحين العب فيه انه هو يشتغل انه يجلس هني على الكيبورد يعني على الطاولة وبس يكتب حرف اللي تقول الشاشة. اوكي كليك يمين صارت كيبورد. وان هذه الشغل كذي وهو يحبها ومن هالسوالف. المهم قال لي الحين ان طلعت من المكتب مالي.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
يقول ان كل الكووركر اللي يشتغلون وياي يعني اختفوا. فانا الحين بروح اللي هو غرفة الاجتماعات عشان اشوف يمكن حد هناك.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
هو قال لي ادخل الدور اللي على اللفت، فبنروح على اليسار. سكر الباب.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
يقول انه ما حصلت حد هني، فيمكن احصل حد في البوس اوفيس. اهم شيء مايكروسوفت اوفيس. ها يتغير روحه. using slides to ensure everyone is unique. You most of all number of slide on this slide chart and slide. إذا نكمل نروح البوس اوفيس. boredom closet.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
قال upstairs صح؟ نسيت. نروح نشوف البوس اوفيس. هذا مكتب السكرتيرة اتوقع. هذا مكتب
Stepping
البوس.
into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
كان يقول ان الرئيس يخفي سر، بس انه مستحيل اعرفه لانه ما اعرف الرمز. بس هو قال لي الرمز، يعني ان كيف اعرفه انا يعني هالرمز. روح تحت. مش متأكد أنا كم نهاية
Descending
اللعبة، بس
deeper into the
أتوقع أن عندها
building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
نقول أني بحصل الأسئلة هنيها وليش أنا يعني ما.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
بعدين خلنا نشوف الحين.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
ما يشبه الماتريكس، شو اسمه؟ The Architect's Room، ما أعرف شو اسمها.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
نسيت كم رقمي أنا كان. 473 لا. 273 يمكن ولا 74. لا ولا واحد منهم. المهم
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
يقول أن هذا هو السبب اللي أنا كنت أحب الشغل، لأن كانوا يتحكمون في عقلي، ما أعرف كيف يعني. المهم فالحين سكرنا الحين. شو صار؟
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Okay. Best beat the game. Get the first achievement. اوكي رجعنا للبداية. الحين نحن نقدر نختار شو نسوي. فنطلع من هني.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
نرجع الحين عدنا من البداية، فنروم نسوي يعني اشياء غير. بشوف الاسكيب اللي ما سويناه.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
بشوف الاسكيب. money in the morning. فلوس في الصبح، فلوس في الظهر، فلوس في الريوق، في الفطور، و ماني كريسب. ما فهمت الأخيرة.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
لاني انا كتبت الكود بسرعة فيقول لي اني ما خليته يكمل حتى كلامه.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Okay. ننزل تحت.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that
جرب
read
الاسكيب.
Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
بس يقول لي ان نهاية الممر بموت انا. خلنا نجرب.
At this
موت
point,
عنيفة بعد.
Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and
استغفر
willingly
الله.
confront his death. As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
ما متصل. أوه. اوكي.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
اوكي يعني انا برد حي. بس
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
هذا المكتب مالي يقول لي انا ميت اصلا من اول ما هوست ستارت. كيف تي؟ هني ما اروح يمين يسار بس لان هني مسوين اوفيس كمبيوتر. اهم شيء السوليتيري امبلوي داتابيس 1 2 3. وين انا الحين؟ انا الحين في developer room، يعني أن يرونا كيف كان. escape.
Number 4. When Stanley came to the lift, he traveled upward to the power source at the top of the facility to end this injustice forever.
Kevin Bright, the voice of the narrator, record dialogue
Stanley stood on the
for
snow.
the entire game, roughly there.
Now look closely,
Separate.
Stanley. See how it's impossible for the player to do anything in this room. Perfect example of poor level design, textbook mistake. It's the kind of thing you'd pick up on intuitively if you had even the most fundamental understanding of good and bad game design. But of course, you being you, you'll probably spend the next hour trying to solve it. Here,
This clip
I'm just going to make this
from
easy
early
on you.
takes that were not
Stanley
used in the
stood on
final
the
game.
snow. Stanley
اوكي،
jumped
هذه
on the
فعلا مثل ما قلت ان اشياء كيف اشرحها، ان اشياء كيف اللعبة، يعني مثلا هي كيف كانت الحجرة تي خلوها تي، لا هي كانت تي بعدين صارت تي بعدين صارت تي، يعني نفس اوفيس كلوك، كأنه ساعة المكتب. فريدوم اندنج هل سويناها اتوقع. فريدوم اندنج كاونت داون ديسك، هالمصعد، هذا الكاونت داون روم. وين انا الحين؟ The game is now paused. Begin the game, resume the game, option written. هالمنيو، بس هني quit منيو، كيف تجي غير؟ The office شو موجود؟ After the second trial we sent out, we asked people to email the narrator question for question. While we had intended plan to use this further promotion material, we never found the perfect use for them. Here are a selection of those email from like subject. يقول ان هذا ايميلات كانوا بيحطونها في اللعبة بس ان ما استخدموها لان ما حصلوا استخدام حقها. وارزون اوكي. اخاف المشكلة اشوف شي يحرق علي يعني في باقي النهايات. كريدت زين كيف من هني انا وصلت. خلنا نشوف بعدنا قبل ما اسوي begin the game again. انا قريت في الاتشيفمنت، ما قريت شفت في الاتشيفمنت ان في اتشيفمنت ما هذا تاخذ اذا ما لعبت اللعبة 5 سنوات. اتوقع زادوا اتشيفمنت ما تلعب اللعبة 10 سنوات، اسمه go outside. دقيقة اشوف الاتشيفمنت اذا اقدر اشوفه. manage property لا. achievement حصلت اللي هو الاتشيفمنت. دقيقة بس. كيف اغير الشاشة؟ دقيقة. ويندو كابتشر. حلو. فعلا بس تيم. ما يبين. ليش ما يبين في التصوير؟ دقيقة عيال. display capture. هذا هو اللي هو سوبر جو اوتسايد don't play the Stanley parable parable for 10 year. في اتوقع الثاني اللي هو يمكن في القبلية كان the best game. في هني الحين نشوف في تروفي توني شفت سبيد رن. ثواني بس. اوكي نرجع للعبة. هذا اكزت.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
من انا ومن انا ومن اوكي.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
اوكي شو صار؟ اوكي رجعت.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
نروح اليمين هالمرة.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed... But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
لا بروح سيدا.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone
بعدين
you've
برجع
forgotten
بسوي
about.
بروح هناك.
Please,
بس خلني اشوف الحين.
stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
شوها.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
ما اقدر نسوي.
As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice.
اوكي
It's
هاي
the
قاعد
best
بيعلمنا الحين
part
كيف
of being
اختار
a
انا
real
يعني
person. But if used
اختيارات
incorrectly,
صحيحة.
can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has a choice. He could invent a machine that eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for all people. Or he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack." Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
شوف.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
سكروا المكان عشان ما انقز. اوكي.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world. Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
بروح اليمين.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
نشوف. برد مني. ما تفرق.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that you... My story! You've destroyed my work! Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever. Reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
بسكر اللعبة؟ اللعبة بعدها شغالة عندي. أتوقع صار.
I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard to make... behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back.
اوكي لازم اتوقع السر اليمين.
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
آخر مرة بس.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back.
اوكي.
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
الاسانسير اللي على اليسار.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
خلينا نقرا السلايدات. How to solve this. Okay, using slide to assure employee that everything is okay. Make sure your slide has a slick blue. Everyone is unique. You must fall. نروح نشوف يمكن غير يكون.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
مسكرين downstairs. حتى الحمام ما اقدر ادخله. كيف جي؟
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Night Shark 115. Just so.
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Night Shark 115. كيف اتكلم انا؟
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
اتوقع انه شي.
Okay, fine, you're not gonna do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. You...
شو صار؟
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice.
The end?
I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there?
make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
شو سوينا الحين؟ اوكي حلو نروح الحين
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
نجرب.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
نشوف بنجرب الريد دور.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Okay.
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
بعدين نروح يعني.
No, wait. Where are you going?
نشوف مليت.
Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
اوكي.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
يعني انتحر. خلنا نشوف لو انزل شو بيقول.
Good, good. We can't be too safe. Promise me you won't go back there. Just stay here.
مليت تنزل.
No. What do we talk about? You're risking everything we achieved here. You heard me before, didn't you? You will die. What about this isn't getting through to you? No! Oh, thank God. You lived. You had me worried there for a moment. No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this? Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
يلا عشان خاطرك بس.
Yes, perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about. I know you'll see that we can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you?
اوكي وبعدين.
No, perhaps not. My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You were literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Do you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me?
لا خلاص. تم هني دقيقتين إذا ما صار شيء.
I wanted us to be happy here, Stanley. I really did. I wish I still thought that was possible.
بعدين.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
اوكي ثواني بس. دقيقة.